And to the bottom we have in the lead with 1-0 the Zerg player. It is GSL HyuN. Very strong player these days. The TSL coach is always joking that HyuN is a monster online, but that offline he is struggling quite a lot. That's one thing that he wants to change. He wants to go to Codes. To the top we have his opponent. We have starting for LGIM YoDa.
And so far, pretty normal build from HyuN, not taking any major risks. YoDa, on the other hand, with his wall off, very normal. So I expect that on this map, HyuN will be aggressive again, but not, of course, not quite so early on. Maybe off 2 bases, but just a little bit of pressure. He may even do something like Roach pressure. I don't think HyuN is going to try to play a late game against YoDa, not on Antigua Shipyard.
What HyuN likes on Antigua Shipyard is Ling, Baneling and Mutalisc composition. It's something that he really enjoys to play, but of course he has a couple of other builds, and we've seen quite a lot of different Zerg builds on this map. We've even seen drop play against Terran being executed with a lot of Zerglings into the main base. That's very rare, but it occasionally happens. Recently the Casper players and Purists as well have been using Nidus networks with roaches in order to pressure the natural and the main base of the Terran player, especially on Antigua Shipyard. But for now, what HyuN is doing is very normal. He's taking his hatch at 50.
He's got a drone scout, so you could actually go double hatch before pool when he sees his command center, which you will actually see now.
Yeah, that's something that a lot of TSL players have done, especially Simple.
That's a great scout here by him. There's great intuition to know that it's possible. I want to scout really early to find out. Also make sure I don't get 2 racks proxy or anything like that. And there's the pool though. He's not going to actually decide to go for that hatch before pool. On this map, you can do it. It's not the best map for it, but it almost indicates though that he wants to be aggressive, because if he's just going to take his pool out, he's definitely aggressively attack. And there's the gas.
And this gas already indicates that he wants to be a bit more aggressive than usual. What HyuN would do quite often is that he takes the gas at the natural and at the third base and neglects the gas in the main if he wants to play for the longer game. He doesn't want to be aggressive at all. The reason is that he is just being pretty lazy when it comes down to his drone macro and his micro. He usually just saturates all mineral patches with 2 harvesters, and as soon as that's done, he rallies every single worker down to the natural until he has the perfect saturation at the natural as well, before he heads on to the third and so forth. But he takes gas at the natural and then at the third base and neglects the gas in the main for quite a long time. I talked with him and his coach quite often about it, and he just feels more comfortable using it like this. So a gas in the main base before the natural is even done already indicates that he wants to play it a little bit more aggressive here, that he wants to have speed faster, and this might also, of course, depending on what YoDa does, lead to a very fast and aggressive build.
Well, he is going to be able to scout this gas. There's nowhere for him to deny him. This is a fast gas. He even sees over 100% or over 100 gas has in mind, so he's going to be thinking, well, this is an aggressive build I'm going to face. How do I respond? You better prepare accordingly, otherwise he's probably just going to get slapped down. This is no messing around when you go command center first when it's gas this fast.
You're not going to have the units that you normally would if you went for a 1-rank expander, even if you went for like a reactor Hellion expander. You're going to have much more to defend. Oh, but actually we have him now pulling out of gas, so he mined a little bit more. The SCV scouted it, and then he pulled out the harvester, so there's no more gas being mined for HyuN. And he's just trying to drone up right now. Looking at his harvester count, we have 8 coming up. It's 27 already on the map, there for 35 in just a few seconds. So HyuN could just try to trick YoDa a little bit.
Yeah, I
want him to not play too aggressive, because with the scouting information that YoDa has right now, he knows, okay, there's going to be gas, and there's actually the second one coming up, and the third. Ooh.
HyuN is just really throwing everybody a curveball right now. He's messing around with pulling in and out. Yeah, he pulled out to get that extra drone production, then put back in. I feel like not even enough players switch their gas mining as much as they should in all matchups, in all races, but he's making a ton of drones right now, which indicates he does not want to attack. I think he just wants to get this gas out to start his upgrades, as he does start double eco chambers, which likely means as well that we will see Infestor play out of him.
We will see Tech to layer very soon, I guess. Not only those double upgrades, but then the lair tech too. He has Hellions against him though, and a lot of Overlords now being spread out across the map. Of course, he wants to know if there's a third base for his opponent, then for the Overlords to the left side. Also in order to make sure that there's no drop play heading his way. Third base, our macro hatch is coming his way. +1/+1 has been started. Upgrade heavy here, and that's the lair tech that we just talked about. After the upgrades, but definitely a lot of gas for HyuN right now, and really fast upgrades if you think about it. He needs to make sure that he's able to defend against the Banshee still.
No Hellion defense whatsoever. He's going to lose a lot of drones here. Already it looks like about 4 done. And more going down.
He's trying to trap them at the mineral line, but that's really difficult for him to pull off. And
oh my god, he pulled all his drones into one mineral patch. That was not the right choice there.
10 harvesters have been killed, and now HyuN and YoDa are even in the worker count.
And following suit here, YoDa gets his double engineering base, so he's going to be trying to follow up with his upgrades as well. Lair is almost done, the Spore Caller is in position, Close is not even done yet, so this Banshee not going to be able to do a tremendous amount of damage, but some is done.
Yeah, not too much though. The Spore Caller is already being built. He has the Queens there in order to throw the Banshee off immediately, 4 Queens in total. So HyuN in general is still fine. Zergling's running by and taking down a few harvesters, trying to make up for all those, well, drones that have been killed earlier. But YoDa still with a very nice harass here. The main question is, what is HyuN going to do right now? Will he be able to go up again and get a bit of a lead in the economy? With YoDa now already getting the third orbital, it seems a little bit unlikely.
Yeah, I don't think so. I'm wondering though, is YoDa actually, is he waiting too long to get his siege tank production out? He's just now adding a reactor for another barracks on his factory. It looks like siege tanks are just really not part of the game plan for him right now. But investor play is making it so hard for him to move out on the map without siege tanks. 13 drones on the way for HyuN, and 15 drones. He knows he's defended really well against this harassment. He knows that YoDa is powering up right now. He just checked with the Overseer, that's why he started those drones. Okay, you don't have a lot of units, but this third base is very heavily pressured right now. He needs to cloak and get out.
He has to cancel. Oh wow, that was... I pretty much feel that YoDa, with the creep spread lacking at the third base, could have just used his Banshee and Micro in order to dance around the hatch and take it down.
I think so too.
And force the cancel.
He's a little bit too nervous to do that, I suppose, but I completely agree. I thought the hatch was dead for sure.
With the speed advantage that he has over the Queens off creep, he could have definitely pulled it up, but I think he didn't want to lose his second Banshee because it's really heavily damaged, and 2 or 3 additional hits of the Queens would have taken out. But yeah, with a bit of Micro, I think he would have definitely been in a position where he can force the cancel on the third and force HyuN to rebuild it. But currently what we see is HyuN just building up a bit of a bank. He wants to get this third base, as already mentioned, +2/+2 already on its way. Really fast upgrades for the Zerg player, who relies on fastest now as well. And he could start a very heavy attack here, but YoDa is preparing with the siege tanks. He has a pretty decent timing for that. We saw earlier with the Hellions and the Banshees exactly what was going on in his opponent's main base and what he had to prepare for.
YoDa really annoying HyuN right now with his Viking. He's cleaning up these Overlords so he can do drops potentially, but also he just wants to kill Overlords. He's already gotten 3 of them. If he goes a little bit further to the right, he'll get a 4th, but I don't think he's going to see it with the path he's set up right now. But even losing 3 Overlords makes the Viking well worth it. It's so annoying.
These Vikings are just incredible for Terran players, and there's so many Terran players that won't build them, but if you do, you make sure that your opponent will be supply bulked a couple of times. You can take down the Overlords and therefore deny the scouting, so it's really important. And HyuN is going for a hive tech at the 12-minute mark, so with the 3 bases that he has and this creep spreading out of his 3 bases, he just wants to be defensive here. He wants to survive until he has the Greater Spire. Would actually be surprised to not see a Spire being started very soon here with the timing that he has for his lair tech.
Yeah, same.
Well, actually, sorry, for example, I having a little bit of a brain fart here. I mean, that's probably going to be no to display on Antigua shipyard, of course.
Well, you know, both
Spire
are possible. Yeah. See, and
I'm a little bit surprised to be honest with you.
Well, I see why a lot of players still like to go for some Greater Spire tech on this map, because with the tech that he's got out, he can probably still hold the middle, and if you can hold the middle, you can go Greater Spire. This Banshee is so annoying. It didn't really do anything, but it like wasted a bunch of energy. You used so much energy, and he still can't get that hatchery quite yet.
Antigua is one of the maps where I'm I don't really like the choice to go Ultralisk because it's really very positional where you can engage with your Ultralisk, and on a lot of maps it's very difficult to pull it off. Cloud Kingdom, for example, is one of the maps where you might lose the game if you attack a bit, if you're not careful enough and you attack into your siege sub turret. But on Antigua Shipyard, Ultralisks, in my opinion, are definitely the better choice. You have so much space in the middle of the map that it's a little bit easier to make them work. And Broodlords are oftentimes out of position if your opponent plays it well. The hatch here, the 4th, has to be cancelled by HyuN. There's just no doubt about it.
He barely cancels it in time and just remakes it. He's trying to get those infestors over there now. Actually sending only teams right away. Okay, now I think he'll be able to save it. It's going to be close though. He needs to hit that fungal and he doesn't target the hatch. He's going to save 100%.
He wanted to save the drone. And here comes the Great Aspire and Adrenaline Lance going for +3/+3, but an additional starport for YoDa is already being built.
And he's got an excellent timing move out here right now. 101, army supply 79. So much of HyuN's army is in links. He's got 94 links on the map, so the fungals are the most crucial part of all. If he can't get the fungals off, there's no chance. He doesn't even have baneling speed. I don't think he has a single baneling. No, he does not.
The big advantage of HyuN now are his upgrades. He has great upgrades, and his +3/+3 will hit so fast. YoDa is already researching the 3rd attack upgrade, but it's a little bit slower than HyuN's. And now to the left, to the top left, you actually have a fight here, but, well, HyuN is repelled. Yeah, there's a full wall, there are marines, there's a bunker.
YoDa is pushing through strong. He's starting to clear up some of this creep, and he's spread his greens really, really well. First group of banelings are slow, and those hits are not really the best that I've ever seen.
Yeah, not for HyuN. That's definitely correct. And the first Vikings are also being built. We don't have Broodlords just yet. He's getting 2 Vikings right now. So YoDa is prepared, and then the question will be if he can really take advantage of this problem that you have with Broodlords, this immobility.
He's got to control the middle, but he's got a bigger problem right now. His hatchery will not survive. It's already low on hit points from the Banshee earlier on. Dies. And HyuN is trying to take an opening here. He does control the watchtower. He's making 4 Broodlords right now. The Broodlords, however, where are they? Okay, they're actually being made in the main base. He needs to get those over the middle. If YoDa actually just goes and controls the center again, all he can do is just keep bouncing back and forth. He's going for a drop in the main base, which pulls HyuN back to his main.
You can't see it on screen, guys, but there was a drop in the main, and that did quite a bit of damage.
The most important part is that now HyuN had to go home, so YoDa controls the center. How is he going to move up here? Another drop.
Another drop to the right side of the map. This time we caught it on camera here for you. So yeah, you can see what that is exactly the problem that you have as a Zerg player on this map. Drop plays coming in to the right and to the left side of your base. It's really hard to defend the 3rd, to defend the main base, and at the same time expand again and take a 4th. So this is the one thing that HyuN is going to struggle with over the course of the next few minutes. In the middle of the map is already being controlled by YoDa, who has a really good supply here.
Yeah, he's way ahead in this game. The Broodlords are, I don't want to say they're too late. They will use them a little bit positionally, but the Vikings are already out. There's just so many lings on the ground, but how useful is that going to be when you have to walk up a ramp against siege tanks already increased with greens? He's not able to take a 4th.
The 4th is being taken for YoDa now, and he's going straight for the planetary while building another 2 command centers. So this is really HyuN now being in a very difficult spot. He needs to kind of attack his opponent and distract him, but at the same time there's no opening for him. He can't really do it, especially now with the sensor tower being ready and giving YoDa perfect vision of everything that heads towards his 3rd base. And we have all these drops that are just coming in for YoDa once more, and always pulling HyuN out of position. You can see how these Broodlords are just not fast enough. They try to go a little bit to the right, a little bit to the left, never arrive there in time, and this is exactly the reason why so many Zerg players will choose to go Ultralisks over Broodlords off this map.
This hatchery is dead. It's going to have to cancel. No way. Cancel. He needs to take this opportunity to control the middle. Get in there with those Broodlords, hold the top with infestors, make it so YoDa cannot mine from this planetary. Finally, he does it. Now he's on top of there. YoDa has so many Vikings out, though. He has already 13 Vikings versus 12 Corruptors. That Overseer is as good as dead. He barely saves it.
Fungals are, of course, now really important for HyuN. He needs to have the perfect fungals if he wants to make this work against this many Vikings. It's not going to be easy, and it's really tough on HyuN right now. Look at this bank that we have for YoDa. Yes, HyuN has the minerals, but he's just lacking gas, and this is the one thing that's going to be so important.
HyuN made a ton of spore crawlers. I think there's like 12 to 15 spore crawlers basically split between all of his bases, so it's really hard for YoDa to try to make these drops work. He is just going to fly right over those crawlers in the main base. He's going to lose a medevac full of units, but the second one unloads fully, and this is going to be a problem. He's got to send his units back, and he's going to lose control of the center once again.
He should go into the mineral line, though. This is one thing that he didn't really do. He just A-moved and therefore took down another... Yeah, well, another spawn killer, but it's all there is to it. He could have killed so much more here.
You're so right, but I think he's so focused on the middle of the map, he just wants to use this positionally. And you're right, he could have done a lot more damage, but
I was about to say, he wanted to pull the Zerglings back.
And it worked. He's able to pull the Zerg army exactly where he wants it. He's not quite able to grab onto that center just yet. The infestors are posing a big problem for him. He needs to be able to split his units. HyuN is making a lot happen with such little gas. He's not losing his expensive units at all here, being so careful with his infestors.
What would really work as well for YoDa here is what a great funnel on those Vikings, but now we have this battle between Corrupt and Viking. Too many funnels right now. YoDa has to be very careful here. He's dropping in supply like crazy. What really works against this is if you have 1 or 2 Thors in your army, because you can do so much damage against the plus and Vikings.
Corruptors, yeah, you're absolutely right. HyuN is in a great position, man. He actually is controlling this, grabs the Vikings again. Now his Broodlords are totally uncontested, and YoDa, after having a great lead, not only economically but positionally with the bank he had, is looking like he may be dead. He's totally undefended at his third. The Queens are here.
I think he will die.
I think he's gonna die, man.
He did not do enough damage with the drops that he had. And
he didn't split his Vikings. He's looking dead, man. And here comes the attack. He's now picking off the siege tanks. And so far, I don't see any way for him to come back. GG.
There we go. Game number 2 ends in favor of HyuN as well. So the Zerg player takes the best of 3 with the 2-0. YoDa is now in the up and downs, and HyuN advances to the 3rd round of Code A. Really well played. In the last game, a few mistakes by YoDa. He actually could have used the drops a little bit better. Some of them were just moved when that click into his opponent's main base. He could have taken down so many harvester here, even tech structures. But HyuN just playing to his strength, and even though YoDa had the advantage, he was not able to take the game. HyuN had this the last fight, and YoDa just lacked anti-air. Thors are oftentimes used by Terran players in order to kill those Corruptors, or at least put more pressure onto them. He didn't have them, he didn't have enough Vikings, and the funnels for HyuN were good. So, yeah, HyuN takes it with the 2-0, and now we're heading into the 4th best of 3 of the day. It's going to be Hack versus Finale, but first of all, of course, we're going to have another short break, and then we will be back with the last best of 3 of the early group.